God. That's wasted.
Big Bird's here.
What's up?
A Simple Jack.
Hi.
This is my buddy Donnie. I don't think he's ever been on the fishing channel, and for good reason. Oh my gosh, dude. Here's Landon. And my wife, Julie. Hey, buddy. This is gonna be good. Venison sausage dogs and regular hot dogs. I'm excited. This is our cabin for the night. There's Donovan. Say hello.
Hello.
That's Don Dirty Sanchez. So we have kind of like these benches with these cushions, a ping pong table, and the cabin is just this one room. So there's Bella, the doggy over there. And tomorrow we're gonna do a little fishing. I don't know how much I'll get on camera, but that's not really the point of this video, but just wanted to take you guys along for our weekend trip.
When the pimp's in the crib, ma, drop it like it's hot, drop it like it's hot, drop it like it's hot. When the pigs try to get at you, park it like it's hot, park it like it's hot. Pop it like it's hot, pop it like it's hot, pop it like it's hot.
We're gonna mount that joker.
So Julie just caught this fish while wearing Landon. So that's pretty much the coolest thing I've ever seen.
It's his first fish.
Awesome. Buddy, what'd you think of that?
Look.
Did you like that?
Bite him.
No? Yeah? Yeah, he loved it. Don't let him fool you. Little Kirby. Loving it. All right, guys, quick update. We're in this John boat here that has the world's oldest trolling motor. It's,
Bill Dance first made this trolling motor popular.
get kind of a little look at that. Got a live well with, so this is like your average size fish here.
Ooh, okay.
Well, so that's what this lake is full of, are these little, and they're all the same size, you know, these little 11-inch 3/4 pounders, if that. So that's what we're doing today. And all in all, we've probably caught close to 70 fish so far. We're going for 100, so I think we'll hit the century mark here in about half an hour. Oh man, I couldn't get the camera on quick enough. Donnie just buried that canoe. All those fish are now gone. They swam off. All your tackle is gone. All right. Oh my God. All right, yeah, Donnie's line is still, all right, I gotta go, guys. Trying to learn how to get better at this big 8-inch swim bait. So, kind of got a little turquoise silver shad pattern going with some big silver eyes. And I got a new hand pour swim bait. It's like a big hand pour worm. It's like a smooth, big trick worm. And boy, is it something else. And I also picked up a new hand pour swim bait mold. This is like a 4.5-inch smooth swim bait, and I think you can do some really cool things with this. It reminds me a lot of the little ribbed swim bait, the small version of this one, as far as like size and profile. It's a little bulkier, and I can't wait to see it in the water. I just got it, haven't actually looked at it yet in the water, but yeah, trying to do some new things. So we'll get some of this stuff on the channel soon. Well, welcome back to the world's worst fishing, everybody. I'm Chris Jones, and today this video is going to be a little bit different. I kind of decided, well, you know, the channel's grown quite a bit, and like I say, I feel like every video, thank you so much. So I said, well, you know, if people are going to watch me make baits and support the channel and watch all my stuff, I said they ought to know a little bit about me. You know, I figured that's the least, you know, obvious thing is, hey, why don't I share a little bit about myself for what it's worth. So getting bright. Basically, my name is Christopher Jones. I was born here in Tallahassee, Florida in 1987. So that makes me 31. I turned 32 in like 10 days. So I was born with some very bad and severe congenital heart defects. So I was born with a heart defect called transposition of the great arteries. My heart was completely reversed, which, as you can imagine, causes some problems. So at 4 days old, I underwent a open heart surgery procedure to correct the transposition. They basically had to repipe all of my arterial plumbing, as it were, and then I was also born with only 3 out of your 4 heart valves, so that wasn't cool. So when I was 2 in 1989, I had my second operation to do what they could for that. So for the next 22 years, until I was 24, I lived with only 3 out of 4 heart valves. And then when I was 24 years old, I had an artificial heart valve put in. So that was December 8th, 2011. That's the year that I met my wife, Julie, and she came down for the operation, and she was a little freaked out, but so was I. So that's kind of what happened when I was born. I was born with some severe heart defects, but once everything was fixed, I lived a normal childhood. I was active. I played street hockey, basketball, baseball. I went fishing some. I was your regular kid. I wasn't restrained by my condition or anything, which I'm thankful for. I played, Little League baseball and everything else. Music was always a big part of my life. So my dad is an incredible guitar player. So he was always playing music when I was young. So I took an interest in music, and I started playing drums on my 10th birthday, actually. I got a drum set for my 10th birthday, and by the end of the night, was already kind of able to play along to a few things. The drummer that used to play with my dad a long time ago showed me a couple things, and then one of my friends growing up in the church, he was the youth band drummer, and he was really instrumental, no pun intended, in kind of showing me the basic coordination of how to play, between hands and feet. So, I started playing drums a lot when I was 10, and that kind of took over my life for a couple of years. I didn't bass fish very often. My dad took me bass fishing when I was really young, showed me how to throw a rubber worm, or a plastisol worm. I should know that, right? Showed me how to throw a worm. We would go to the local lake in our neighborhood, catch a few bass, take them home and eat them. It was really wonderful, and those are great memories. And so music kind of took over after my childhood sports, and I played music for many years. I did it middle school band program. I was a high school band nerd. I'll try to throw some pictures up that I can find of some of these life events. I had a friend named Matt Mahone. He's been on the channel once, real briefly in one of our videos. He started taking me bass fishing a lot in high school, and he was always telling me, oh, don't go home and play drums, let's go to the lake, let's go to the lake, let's go to the lake. And so I caught the bass fishing bug really in about 10th grade, and kind of never looked back. I still played, I still marched in the band, I still practiced drum set regularly, which is my preferred thing. I'd much rather sit down on my full drum set than, just play on a snare drum or a practice pad or something like that, or the marching stuff. But learning how to play marching drums was instrumental, again, in being a better drum set player. I think it teaches you really good technique. But I started bass fishing a lot in high school. And when I graduated high school, I kind of had a brief music career. The band that I was playing with, I started playing with my dad and one of his friends named Jason Bird. And we became, through a lot of hard work on Jason's part, and my dad's part, we became the opening act for the legendary country singer George Jones. The Possum, as he's known. And we went on tour for several years. Now, I was in college at the time, trying to get my associate arts and, eventually a bachelor's in business. So I wasn't touring like full-time regularly. I would tour whenever I could. And whenever we had, full band stretches. And so, I kind of had a brief professional music career. And we were fortunate enough to tag along with, the Rolls Royce of country music, George Jones himself. We got to stay on his property. He had like a trailer, a really nice trailer that was haunted on the mountain that he lived on. And we all heard voices in the middle of the night that we couldn't quite explain. Big fancy tour buses. We played the Grand Ole Opry stage at the Ryman Auditorium twice. Played some really great venues out in Texas. And we're really making a go at it. We had a record label at the time, and we were kind of making some headway in the music business. And but life comes at you sometimes, and after years and years of working at that, it kind of got to the point to where, maybe the guys were a little bit exhausted. I was still pretty young and wasn't really involved much in the business part of it. I didn't have anything to do with the record contract or anything like that, but circumstances arose where we basically were no longer part of the record label, and Jason and his wife got pregnant, and he kind of wanted to take some time off to raise a family. He was having his second child, and I think he just kind of wanted to be a dad, and I totally get that. And, I had some opportunity to go to Nashville and play professionally for my career. I had practiced enough, I was good enough, and I could be doing it. You may be asking yourself, hey, Chris, why are you filming YouTube videos playing with glitter and colors in your garage instead of, out playing in front of 20,000 people, right? Well, yeah, sure. I could have done that, and I purposely chose not to pursue it any further. Really, at the time, I just wanted to go bass fishing a lot, and being a touring musician was really going to mess with my fishing. And I was thinking ahead. I said, I want to have a home life. I want to raise a family. I want to be able to kind of have a routine. I want to come home every day and be able to enjoy my family, and also go bass fishing. And so it was kind of an easy decision. I didn't want to leave Tallahassee. I didn't want to move away from my friends and family. Even though Nashville's great, the music scene is great. I practiced my whole life since I was 10, to get to a level of competence on my instrument to be able to do it professionally. And, we did it for a little while, but when it came time that, okay, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to have to completely go on my own, leave my family and my life, I said, nope, no way. I want to bass fish, and, I want a home life with a wife and kids one day. So here I am playing with glitter in my garage instead of, jamming with some country act on the road, right? But, so that's kind of, through college and everything. I went to Flagler College. I graduated with a bachelor's degree in business. When I graduated school, I came up with the land is the limit idea. My sister and I designed the logo with my brother-in-law, so really it was kind of three of us. So my logo was the little fish hook thing. It started as a napkin drawing. Since then, like 1,000 people have stolen it and ripped me off and used it, but it costs too much to sue them all. I've tried that, but so Land is the Limit was originally like my answer to Salt Life. You see Salt Life stickers, Salt Life decals, Salt Life shirts. I mean, the guys at Salt Life are geniuses. They made Lord knows how much money just selling an idea, just selling an image which represents an idea. And I said, there's really nothing like that for bass fishing. There's all these bass fishing brands, but not just one image that just encompasses it all. And so that's what Land is the Limit was going to be. We started off with hats, shirts, apparel, all that kind of stuff. And I quickly decided, you know what, everybody's kind of doing this. There's just so many fishing apparel companies. Even though I wanted to do it differently, it's just hard to do that. So in fall of 2012, I decided I'm going to take the Land is the Limit logo. I'm going to take that image, and I'm going to put a real product to it. So I bought my first 5 gallons of Plastisol, my first couple of molds, and wrote up a big business plan and went into it, full steam ahead. This was after my heart surgery in 2011, and built a website, all the works. Ordered packaging, well before I probably should have. We covered all the bases as quickly as possible. So kind of whenever I got started in baits, there really were no YouTube tutorials. There were some videos out there demonstrating, the Bass Tackle Twin Injector. There was little to no YouTube presence about how to do this. And so, like I said, we bought packaging, did the website, trademarked our logo. We went in full steam ahead. We were going to be the next Zoom Baits for all I knew. And, we quickly developed a few products. We had like 6 different baits, so 6 SKUs. And added a few more, did a couple custom molds, which is a big investment. At least it was then. Print and Lure and some of the other places weren't around. I sunk thousands of dollars into my 2 custom molds, my Frog and my Boom Shad. And I love them. I've sold a ton of them. I've made my money back. I wouldn't give them up for the world. But, we really went in hard. And that's what I wanted to do. I had big production. It was... My parents' garage is huge, absolutely huge. We made the whole thing into a bait shop. We had a couple different stations to work from, multiple shelves. It was a very efficient and comfortable setup. I had all the room to work with as far as big production. And, we hit it hard. We got into a couple local stores, had a local distributor deal. Our product was going out regionally. And after about 1.5 years of really trying to make that work, I just said, man, margins are really tough in baits, especially if you're going to sell wholesale or straight to the stores, retail. Your margins are really, really tough. And you've got to have a very efficient process in order to make this stuff fast enough and cheap enough in order for those margins to work. And I've only seen a few guys that are truly doing hand injection and making baits by hand, not running machines, who are really able to make it work. And by make it work, that's their main source of income. They're truly making a living hand injecting baits, which you can do. I just kind of got burnt out. It was long days. It's a lot of labor. I didn't really have enough molds and injectors. That stuff's really expensive. And, after all the other investments, it was like, okay, maybe this isn't for me to do it full time. But I always kept doing it. And, I had to enter the workforce. Julie and I were trying to get married, and, you have to, have the income to do that. And so I started working. I got a job in student housing as an assistant property manager. So I did that for a little over 3 years, and that's a pretty fun job. And you know, all the while, in December of 2016, I decided to start a YouTube channel. And you know, I was like, I'm gonna be the next Lake Fork guy. You know, I'm gonna, you know, this is my new direction. You know, I'm not gonna worry about trying to make as many baits anymore. That'll just kind of be a part of the YouTube channel. And so I hit the YouTube thing pretty hard. I did that for about 9 months, just making fishing videos. Whether it was out of this boat, my old boat, a friend's boat, local pond down the street. You know, I mean, we had no idea what we were doing. You know, I only had one GoPro. I still don't have a lot of camera equipment, but you know, I made the best of it that I could. I made my first like soft plastic bait video just kind of on a hunch. You know, I had to do a color match for a friend who had ordered some Senkos. He was one of my old coworkers, and I decided to film it. And sorry, it's a little windy out here. And before I knew it, that video had like 1,500 views. And you know, my most popular one up to that point had like 700. And it was 9 months old. And I was like, man, you know, people really kind of like this bait stuff. So I started doing some more, started thinking, you know, how can I do more bait videos and do better bait videos? So I kind of started doing, I guess what I'm doing now. I started kind of teaching soft plastics, and not necessarily teaching, but just showing it, demonstrating it. Then the channel just kind of grew exponentially, and you know, I kind of learned, hey, you know, there's a real kind of YouTube niche for this. I started getting a lot of questions, and you know, a lot of people are really curious about it. They want to know if it's something they want to do. They want to know how to do it, where to get the stuff, and it's been a fun ride ever since. Yeah, you know, that's kind of where we are now. You know, I guess a little bit more about me. You know, I'm a ginger with red hair. I have freckles. I sunburn easily. I enjoy German beer. Some of my favorite things to do are sit around and try to play guitar. You know, I have a lovely wife. We got married in March of 2017. I have a 4-month-old son named Landon. We have 2 dogs, 2 cats, and a hedgehog at our house. We're both from Tallahassee, where we never plan to move. Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't have a whole lot of complaints, thankfully. You know, I'm lucky to have a bass boat. Not everybody is fortunate enough to have the means, you know, to go fishing, especially comfortably and safely in a large boat. You know, I was a bank fisherman and a John boater for many years. You know, so anyway, that's a little bit about my life. Hope this video hasn't been too boring, but you know, I was thinking, hey, if people are going to watch my content and I'm going to try to interact with everybody and try to build, you know, relationships with my viewers best I can, I said, well, they need to know a little bit about me. So anyway, now we're going to talk about my political views. So basically, in the 2016 election, I voted, you know, I'm just kidding. But anyway, I hope the video's been enjoyable. I hope it hasn't been too mundane, but I'm really excited to see where we can take it. 2019, there's some cool things I think coming, and stay tuned soon. I'm going to do a review video of the new Dead On Plastic. They recently came out with an all like in-house formula. It's no longer being manufactured for them by Polysol. This is now, they have full control over what's in this stuff, and I'm very impressed. I think it's gonna be America's favorite plastic. So certainly is mine. But anyway, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll have more content hopefully soon. It's a little more challenging for me to make videos. I have less time now. You know, Julie's back to work. She works in catering. It's her busy season starting. Tallahassee is a big political town, so legislative session, you know, a lot of lawmakers and politicians and probably all your favorite people, they all come to Tallahassee, and the catering schedules for the catering businesses, they skyrocket, and so a lot of nights it's just me and Landon. So, but anyway, we'll get it done either way. So that's enough rambling for today. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you for your support of the channel. It means the world to me. Hope I can make good content. But anyway, we'll catch you next time on The World's Worst Fishing.